Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voxel Voicecast. I'm Ryan Shepard. With me today, I've got Redbeard,
Yo.
Derek,
Hey.
and Lee, all the way over from across the
Hello.
pond. So we are doing something a little bit different today. We are just going to make this a Q&A, a little bit of a forum where we take questions from you guys. We've asked some from the group. We have a kickoff question that we're going to start off with, and we'll also take some from the chat. First off, how's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling tonight?
Just coming off a cold.
Oh, no.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Early work day, so I could get here to start this.
Cool.
Yep.
Lee, you
Freezing
staying
to death.
you staying awake over there?
Yeah, freezing to death. We're snowed in everywhere.
Oh,
Sprained ankles. Brilliant.
Jeez. Did the snow have
Fantastic.
anything to do with the sprained ankle?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I went far.
I'm
I went far, but
You
I did it with grace. But
Oh, good. At least did other people see this, Grace?
yeah, they saw me just kind of lie there and just winded. Oh my god! You know, when you just can't get that breath. That was fun.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I wiped out a couple weeks ago. It was funny. It's like when there's ice on the ground and then it rains a little bit and it's like extra horrible. I was just talking to somebody. I was like, "Hey, be careful out there. There's some water on the ice." And then not even like an hour later, I wiped out on my ass and.
I do not miss that at all. Like I said, I used to live up in Pennsylvania, so I know the snow, I know the ice, I know the black ice, but I'm enjoying it here in Florida. I like my warm.
Yeah.
I
bet you do.
prefer all the cold. I prefer the cold, the snow, the ice, all that. But yeah, I'm from Detroit, so
Yeah. I miss the snowboarding and everything because I lived on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
But as far as the other stuff that it entails, the cold, the horrible people driving and all that stuff, yeah. Take the warm weather.
Yeah, I did an update Nightbot. Oh well. There isn't a $50 game card, but there is a $20 game card we're giving away, and Miss Stephanie Hunter was also very kind to donate a derelict copy of Monster Hunter. She accidentally bought, I guess. I don't really know how it went. She went through some stuff, so we're gonna give her a mulligan on that one. So yeah, and we're also going to choose a winner of another $20 gift card to give out to the person that has the best question, that gives us the best question. So we're gonna kick it off here with the question that we polled in the group, the one that got the most votes, which didn't really surprise me, but it's regarding the U.S. government trying to come up with legislation or something along those lines to basically put the onus of all of our problem with mass shootings and things like that squarely on the face of video games. Those bad video games, they're gonna make us all killers. I see the three of you there, and I see nothing but violent, horrible people that are just gonna. Oh. Actually, speaking
There
of
you
which,
go.
yeah. Look at that face. Those two eyes, that orange circle. Just
so violent.
Just so
angry.
evil.
see,
Are you still there, Lee? Do we lose you, or do we just lose the cam?
I think we lost.
Looks like it's we lost the whole country. England has sunk, and Lee is no longer with us. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if he gets connected again. But we'll just start it off. First of all, let's not beat around the bush here. Obviously, this is all of this kind of all of this stuff. We've heard it before. It's come around. It's literally every type of media has had this issue where the government's tried to come in and blame.
I find that absolutely ridiculous.
Blame whatever they want to blame on movies, on music, on TV, on
It's just
I don't know,
anything they can
probably
scapegoat that's not
probably
themselves.
paintings. Back when books, definitely books.
Yeah, how many books have been banned and brought
definitely
back
books.
and then rebanned?
That's excuses, right? Excuses.
Yeah, it's obviously, and this is kind of what I want to. There's two parts of this I want to tackle, and the first one I just kind of want to quickly get out of the way here because I think we're all in agreement. Is that it's just a diversionary tactic to get us to not talk about the real problem, which is gun control, like figuring out how to address this issue of gun control without like some middle ground. I don't know, maybe just a little bit, just a smidge, just a little bit somewhere, meet somewhere and be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have so many of them, or they shouldn't be able to cause so much damage. And then
okay, well, I mean, maybe I can kind of play devil's advocate with that.
I'd rather
as
you
far as
didn't.
that goes, a slight thing with that. I am
But
not in
that's
agreement,
okay.
obviously.
So that's not that's I'm talking about that in terms of like what they're trying to distract us from.
Not exactly.
I'm not here to get into.
You said middle ground. To go to middle ground, so I was going to go to middle ground.
So I'm not here to debate gun control. We can have
I'm not talking about that.
We can have another podcast about that if we really want to.
There goes our newscast that we were talking about
I don't think we do. Yeah, I know, right? The lost tapes, as it were.
No. I wouldn't be talking about that. No.
So, right. So, totally distraction to get us not talking about that and talking about defending our hobby, one of the things we're probably all most enthusiastic about. And it's an obvious. It's simple, right? Here's this thing people like. Let's attack it, so they talk about that instead of something else. And
Yeah, but like I said, I'll play a slight devil's advocate here, coming from both sides. I am obviously not in agreement that video games cause all these problems, but you say let's come to some middle ground. Let's meet in the middle and come to an agreement with something. We all know about those ratings that we have on games, correct?
Yeah.
How many game stores actually adhere to these ratings on games? When they're selling these games, you see a kid come in. I've seen kids walk into a GameStop and buy a mature game.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably a case by case basis.
Possibly, but let's say you put more strict things on that.
I mean, I know back before I was old enough to buy mature rated games, I wasn't able to. Like
I think the ESRB ratings came in when we were about 10.
I don't know.
Around there.
I mean, I remember. Oh,
looks
yeah,
like
I know he just messaged us in the group, and it froze him completely out.
Okay.
Guess he's trying to get back in, but it's not going too well.
Well, him leaving threw all the cams off, so.
We are experiencing technical difficulties at this time.
So, why don't...
My mic is me. It looks like my arm is Lee, and the side...
Your head is red.
Yeah, I know. Derek...
That's okay.
I'm slowly taking over.
Yeah.
Just slowly taking over.
If you break all this down, eventually you can put Derek back together.
Right.
All right, guys, puzzle time.
The Humpty Dumpty cast over here. Let's see.
Video games While he's doing that, I'll
Yeah,
kind of
well, I'm doing this. You guys do
but
that.
video games coming up with the thing that, hey, violence creates all the, all this violence is associated with the video games, the movies that we watch, all this other thing. Yeah, that might be possible, but it comes down to, as we have Derek in the chat saying, it's bad parenting. We have a severe problem in proper parenting in this generation, in which parents do not discipline their children properly, they don't watch their children properly, and they don't educate their children properly. So we end up in this huge problem that we have here, where you have something going on, and then, as Ryan pointed out, we kind of distract ourselves from the fact that video games, oh no, let's all attack video games and say video games are the problem. That's the reason that we have all these issues. It's so much violence in video games when it's not really that.
Yeah, because like I said before, it's like they're trying to attack like the next thing. Because, like you said, you made a point too, where with the kids and everything, it's how you raise the children as well. I have a 7-year-old. I'm a father. I have a boy. I let him play games. I let him play kind of whatever he wants to, until he starts acting like a certain way. Like, no, you can't do that. This is just a game. But when you look at some other people's children and being around with them, you can tell the difference in how kids are being raised. And it's completely different from when we were kids.
Absolutely, and I have 3 children, and I actually don't allow my children to play every other game, which most people would say, well, that's really weird, because I let my kids watch almost every movie, but I explain every single movie to them. Of course, there are definitely some things you're not going to show your child Deadpool,
Well, yeah. And as far as like games, like I'd say the worst one he probably played would be like Skyrim on the Switch. But there's still not much he can get into because of his age, because he just kind of like wanders around. So at the same time, it's how much do you let them dive into.
And that's about the worst I've done with my kids, has been things like Fallout or Skyrim or something of that nature. They do understand guns. Like my son is a huge fan. He's 5 years old, but he's a huge fan of destroying zombies.
So is mine. His newest addiction is Fortnite.
I mean, he's got tons of little Nerf guns to go shoot zombies, and he has fun with it. But he understands that we don't hurt people,
Right.
I've gone up after this entire whole thing happened there in Florida. I went up and talked to my children. I said, "What do you think about this?" And they're like, "They shouldn't do that. It's very bad. It's very bad for people to do that." And that's coming from an 8 and 9-year-old child, that has that. How do you put it? Interaction with violent movies, violent video games. This is parenting. You explain to your child properly, and you don't come up with these issues. And the problem, like I stated earlier, most people aren't parenting properly to their children. I mean, I remember back in the day, if I was doing something stupid, my head would fall off my shoulders from my parents knocking it off,
Yeah.
Or it's, hey, go pick out your Switch, or go get the belt for me, Yeah,
right.
But,
and then it's just with like society changing as well. Like if we had tried to discipline our kid to that full extent now.
Well, I don't know if you guys read this,
destroyed.
but there is this thing that was going around on Facebook, again, social media, that apparently there's somewhere around the United States where they're thinking about making it where if your child bullies another child, that you go to jail. Yeah.
And just to touch on that thing, to go along with that, because I just saw another article on that, is that now, for this one school, instead of suspending your kid, your parent gets the choice to come in and spend that amount of time in class and all your classes with you.
I think that creates more social and psychological problems. You will be bullied even more if your parents coming in, harassed. Hey, look, it's the kid that had to have their mom or dad come in. I mean,
it's not like it's the ones that are doing the wrong, not the ones that are getting picked up.
But then you make that bully become the victim. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. But I mean, I think they definitely need to figure out a different way of doing this, and not to keep veering off topic and so forth. Like Ryan said, we could talk about gun control and everything else.
Right. So one thing that I wanted to bring up is specifically something that parenting doesn't really have any control over, and that's mental health. And how obviously very small percentage, like extremely small, but how can video games, media, and stuff like that have an impact on mental health? Like, how can it shape you as a person? Because as I think dismissing it entirely is kind of doing video games a disservice, because video game stories, movie stories, all these kinds of things, they're specifically designed to move us emotionally, to have an impact that reaches beyond the video game in our lives. Like thinking about something that happened in a movie or a video game later on. You know, we have a discussion about it. We're doing a podcast talking about video game issues. They're reaching beyond just the video game itself. In other words, they don't just exist in a vacuum. You don't play a video game and then it just appears, right? They have a lasting impact on yourself, on people.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the games you play.
Right. So, what I'm getting at is, to what extent do we as a society, as a community, help people that may not have the experiences or the capacity to understand where the line is drawn? And obviously parenting has a big part in that. But there's also situations where it can extend beyond the reach of the parent. Like maybe the parent is a very good parent, but they're still not even noticing some of the signs that it could be a bigger issue. And
that would
yeah.
Sorry to jump in on you. That would have to. You're saying that whether the parents recognize the signs. I mean, that's something that maybe we need to have things with school. You know how you have the first day orientation in the younger classes where your parents come in with you. Perhaps we should have it where parents have to undergo with the PTA and so forth, these psychological classes in which you can identify if your child has some kind of psychological problem, if that's bothering them, that might be causing whatever issues that might be there. You see a lot of times that somebody that might have these problems is just being diagnosed as, he's just being a bad kid.
Right.
Just being a bad kid.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about
actually,
here. Right.
It's an actual mental disorder.
Okay.
Well, it looks like
Lee's trying to get back in.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
I'm not gonna mess up.
asking if
I'm
you
not
could
gonna
jump
mess
back
with
in.
the cameras until I'm sure he's connected.
It looks like I'm out of here, and my stuff went back on the screen now.
Yeah, it's this is really annoying. I didn't know with 4 people it got this weird. I thought it was just gonna do a long strip like it did with the 3 people. Anyway, that's a little behind the scenes. We're in the forefront here. So that's kind of where my my thoughts are, and like outright dismissing video games as being a potential contributor to any of it kind of, like I said, does the impact of video games and any type of media, like I said, a little bit of a disservice in terms of the impact it can have on people's lives, positive and negative. So the question really obviously isn't ban video games or tax violent video games or all that kind of bullshit that they're talking about. The question, the real solution is to figure out awareness about this kind of stuff, that it can be an issue, and how to deal with it. Because in terms of like, everybody had the problem with I don't think Lee's gonna be able to come back. I don't know what's up. Um, the problem with the conversation around mental health is that there's a lot of nuance to it. Everybody deals with things in different ways. There isn't just some magic pill or magic word or magic solution that works for everybody. So it's very hard to wrap, not, no pun intended, but wrap your head around. And those are the conversations we really need to be having, is how to identify all of these different signs that we can all catch on to.
Right.
Personally, I think there should be more psychology. Your school counselor is supposed to be the one to identify that these issues that are being shown in a school. Most of them aren't doing their job. They're basically saying, "Hey, go to this class. Hey, you could go to this class. Hey, you have wood shop. Hey, you have,
Well,
you know."
let's think about one school counselor trying to take care of
Like I said, we don't
500,
have
1,000 kids. So maybe instead of giving teachers guns, we should give them psychology
proper
training.
education. But yes, we
Right.
should. We should,
Um,
and and that should be more prevalent in your upper grades, obviously, because I mean, I think the youngest school shooter was probably 11, about 20 years ago. So possibly giving them that education about elementary school, 6th grade, 5th grade, around that time period, to be able to identify. And like you said, once you get to the upper grade, you got what, 500 students to that one counselor.
mhm.
It's a big burden
Right.
to be able to identify who the issue is.
Right. I mean,
You know,
Right.
it's been an issue for a very long time, like the lack of awareness of these kinds of things. I think now there's more push towards it. Like, I think there's more and more awareness going on. There's if you check out, I recommend checking out the Checkpoint series on YouTube. They're doing a series of videos about mental health and video games, how people can use it to cope with their mental health issues, as well as just a general awareness of it.
I can tell you, as most of you know, I come from a military background. I can tell you that video games has, usually from a lot of my friends that have seen combat and all that other stuff with mental health that you get from that, the video games is actually helpful in order to deal with the depression, the rage, all that you're dealing with coming from that. And I honestly believe that it helps with the to help with the depression instead of causing that rage.
Yeah. I guess.
You're interacting with the game instead of with a person, and hurting that person.
Me personally, I play video games to deal with my anxiety.
Same.
It's a big help with that. Just being able to check out for a few hours in a virtual world where I don't have to worry about bullshit. It helps a lot. And talking about that, I think a lot of us, like, I mean, you just said you do, and I think a lot of us do, and we just gotta be. It starts with talking about our own things, like the things that how it helps us, like our own mental health things, and then that opens it up to allow other people to feel more comfortable about it as well. And
Right.
that's what it needs to happen. Everyone just needs to be like, everyone has to agree and believe that everybody has some sort of mental health things that they're dealing with. Nobody is quote unquote normal, and we just need to talk about it more.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this goes for everybody watching this right now. When you're playing a video game, and I'm going to tell you, I do. when you sit there and talk to one of your friends on a video game, they're being like your counselor. You're explaining your day. You're explaining how you're feeling. Usually, sometimes when you're playing a video game, you might be in the middle of a video game playing a quest, or if you're waiting in a lobby for maybe your one of your Call of Duty or Battlefield, you're, hey man, yeah, I've had a little crappy day. This is making me feel better. Maybe if we're winning, we're doing really well. I feel in a better mood. Have any of you ever experienced that, where you're able to talk out with that community? Is
me personally, not with. I don't play much multiplayer games. I don't get much solace in those. I mean, I do play with my friends, and I obviously like socializing with them. But for me, it's the single player games, the open world games where I can just. I don't have to care. Yeah, I don't have to care.
Escape into a different world.
Right.
And that's with the single player. I'm kind of what might be for the multiplayer. I think there's two different types of gamers: those that play by themselves and, like you said, like you like to escape from the world, and those who jump into the multiplayer, and it's just about the community. It's about the people you can talk to, because sometimes you can't do that at school, or you can't do that at work.
Right. Derek, do you have anything to add to that?
I had something and I completely lost it.
Yeah, I know you were gonna say something, and then I jumped in.
It was something about the mental health point, about I guess the earlier thing I was gonna say too is mental health is changing a lot too. Mental health back when we were kids, you hardly heard about any of these type of issues mental health wise. Now we jump 20, 30 years up now, and you have all these different types of issues. There's these different types of pills, so it's harder to see this stuff, because if they're on a medicine for something, they're one way. As soon as they forget something for one day, they snap and they're completely a different way.
I think it's been more identified over the last 20 to 30 years.
That'd be a good way to put it.
It's become more prevalent to identify it. That's a whole nother subject, whether or not all those pills are necessary.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Like the advancements in medicine too, that changes the whole mentality of mental health, because now it's not that somebody just has a problem. It's now that the problem is being suppressed, but could also be altered. Because to everything they take or they give them, there's pluses and there's negatives to it. And if you forget something for one day, that can make you completely snap. You could be fine, straight A student. You forget a pill for a day, you flipped, and something happened at the littlest thing too. So it's a very touchy subject.
But then that comes down to, you're going in pills and so forth, but that comes down to that could also create problems as much as it helps it. And you're talking about that one day you forget, could be that one person that comes in and decides to do something stupid,
right? So
because they miss a pill.
Yeah, that's kind of also goes hand in hand with continuing to discuss it and get proper funding for these kinds of things, so we don't have to just medicate everybody or whatever the case may be. Thinking about back in the way back when the solution would be lobotomy or something like that. We've come so far, but we still got so much farther to go.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we'll move on to the next question, if everyone's all set with that.
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up pretty good, but last time too, it's something you can just keep talking about. So
right,
getting us something fresh.
All right, let's load this up. Rashard, who I know is in the chat, he asked, what does the industry need to do to regain the confidence of the gamer community? Now, I wasn't 100% sure if he was referring to something in particular. I was just gonna kind of say, let's talk about things we would like to change, industry trends or stuff we're seeing in games that we would like to have changed that are getting a little bit old,
or are overly annoying.
Yes, whatever the case is.
Microtransactions.
Okay.
That's funny because I was going to say that's one of the things that we've been wanting to talk
All right.
about is definitely the microtransactions and everything.
Microtransactions.
Okay, let me get this back up here.
And even some like while you're fixing that, DLC is starting to get out of hand as well.
I'm just reloading the Metal Gear Survive video for all of us to
one of the games
have
that
this
I like right
conversation
now,
about.
when we're talking about microtransactions and the DLC, like you brought up, Derek, is I think Assassin's Creed Origins that just came out last year, I think it did a great job in dealing with that. That you have the ability to do the microtransactions, but the fact that you play the game allows you to bypass that. So what I'm talking about is with if you've played the game and you're looking at the game and you're doing some of the little missions they have with, I think the guy's name's Rada. You do his missions, and sometimes he'll give you gear that you could buy and have right away, or you can randomly get through playing the game and showing your support for the game. And that right there, if they did that and all other of these games adapted something very similar to that, I think that would be what would pull us back in. Want us to play that game.
Definitely how it gets handled and stuff too. Because like I'll use Fortnite because I back that. And I backed it a lot. Like my brothers put at least 200, I put at least 300 into it. But we got copies. We were giving copies of the game to give out. We have incentives for coming to play it, for being these like founder, as they're calling it. You know, every day we log in, we get something for a certain amount of days, and even if you skip it, it just still stays. So it's something they've done right, but it's there.
Oh, just like we're seeing right now in Metal Gear Survive login bonuses.
Yeah, and even like I'm not really sure what that's giving you, but like I said, for that, like you're getting V-Bucks, you're getting stuff that you potentially could spend money on, but you can still get it from here. You can get it playing in the game by actually doing their purchases. Mm-hmm. So it's all really like how they handle everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Assassin's Creed was a great example. Another game that handled their DLC well, I think, was Final Fantasy 15. We got a complete game. And then they filled in the story using a DLC and these short little tidbits from each character's point of view. Awesome. They're still planning on adding more, which I think they're doing a great job with it. But if you just take the two core games, you could take Assassin's Creed, you should take Final Fantasy in their core. You have two great games. Take out all the DLC. You don't even need it.
Absolutely.
And you still got your full experience. Those are the ones that I feel have handled it right. To where we get other games to where we've got a game that feels like a $40 game, and now we're spending $20 extra to get the rest of it. And maybe not even all of it, depending how they handle their stories.
You're not going to throw anybody under the bus with that?
I'm trying to think of some, some good examples of ones games that have done that. Yeah. I don't know if you can help me there with that one. I'm kind of like,
I think,
what do I got?
I think this is one of the things we come down to is when we're trying to come up with situations like Derek just described. We may actually be talking about something that we're like doomsdaying about. Like, what if someday a game comes out and they charge an extra $20 for the end of the story or something like that?
That's ridiculous, in my opinion.
So whenever somebody comes up with something like that, I do ask for an example to be like, okay, so give me an example of this thing that you're talking about. For me, I think I'm getting more and more fed up with content that is either locked from people who don't pre-order or blocked off from people that aren't playing on the right platform. Just for instance, I love Monster Hunter, but I think the way they handled the specifically, and I think it's going to happen with the Aloy costume too, the Palico armor, the Watcher armor. I think that was kind of a weird move. Not so much that they're giving a Sony exclusive piece of cosmetic armor to PlayStation owners, but because of the timing on it, like you only had a short amount of time to do it. So if you picked up the game late, you can't get that armor
Right.
for the Palico. And if you're coming in even later, you're probably going to miss the Aloy armor as well. And this is something that's on the box. Like when you pick up the box of Monster Hunter, it actually says that this stuff is in the game. Like if you buy this game, exclusive to Sony, and you already cannot get that Palico armor. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna come around again. Like if it's gonna be like a season thing where in a couple of months they're gonna allow you to get that again. I don't know if they. Okay, so apparently, Derek Cage in the chat is saying they did announce that those quests will return. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's not. That's better than them never being able to come around again. But
I guess what I could say with your point on that is that they didn't do something for Xbox at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's the other half of it. Is like
that all comes behind backing. Who pays the most to get their stuff to come, and that happens with your Call of Duty games, where 1 year Call of Duty has PlayStation exclusive stuff, and then the next year it's Xbox, and then the year after that it might be Xbox or PlayStation based on who gave more money to have that support their particular system. And that's what I think is happening with Monster Hunter, is that it was supported more by Sony than it was Xbox. And so you have that particular thing where you're getting those specialized items and so forth. And we're going to constantly see that no matter what.
I just don't. All right, so I guess add that to the bullshit pile too. Like, how hard would it be to add in like a Master Chief armor or something like that?
That'd be awesome.
You know.
Speaking of which, I just downloaded all that.
I mean, I named my Palico Ori, right, from Ori and the Blind Forest. If they had a skin that I could unlock that made him look like the character from that game, I probably would have bought it on Xbox.
Right?
Fucking A. Yeah. And then I get Master Chief armor for my character, and then I'm running around with Ori and Master Chief, and yeah.
So, wouldn't it be cool if, based on what games you might have, when you purchase games, that you get skins associated with those games that you have in the library on that particular system?
What was that? I'm sorry, you cut out a
let's
little bit.
Let's say that you bought you were talking about.
Yeah, you cut. Okay. Yeah,
am I still cutting out?
Yeah, every once in a while. I don't know if I'm here, if it's just me hearing that or what.
Well, let me make sure.
Every now and then we lose
I don't think it has anything to do with your mic placement. I think it's an internet thing.
Possibly. So what I said, hopefully I'm not cutting in and out again, is basically if you bought that game Ori and so forth, that the game Monster Hunter looks through your library, sees what kind of games you have, and determines, well, you have this game, so there's a skin available that you can use to import into this game to go to that particular character. Maybe that would be better. So that would determine whether or not you use PlayStation versus Xbox based on what your library is.
That's some more Metal Gear bullshit.
I don't play that Metal Gear Survive crap, man.
No, I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid 1, looking at your save data and figuring out what games you play and then referencing.
Yeah, it's not necessarily your save data. It's
I'm just joking around, man. Like Psycho Mantis looking into the games you've played on PlayStation and then making references to it.
That's actually kind of cool, though.
That yeah, man. Metal Gear used to be good.
Used to be.
All right, let's yeah, poor Metal Gear. Let's move on to our next question. This one. Well, we'll do this one real quick because I know Mike's in the chat. Will Nintendo stay on top this year, and how? Probably releasing more games.
Right.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's gonna have another strong year.
I hope so. I really hope so. I like. I have to say, since the Switch came out, and even before that, I like the fact that Nintendo's coming back in where it's able to compete with Xbox and PlayStation. I really like.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It was one of the very first, consoles out there, one of the biggest ones to start, and just kind of died down for a little bit, and now it's coming back and coming back really strong. I do hope that they stay on top this year, and how release more games.
Right.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some new like fresh games too, and not like, oh god, now we're porting this over to the Switch now.
Now, question: I haven't been playing my Switch very often. Do they do the same thing where they give away free games at all? With any type of subscription?
No, they've been dragging their ass on their online service.
It's only going to be $20 for a year, right?
I mean, that's the rumor.
They just can't pull it together.
That'd be fine with me.
But the question is, what are you going to get with it, right? And
exactly.
I want some chat support, please.
Right? Yeah. Like,
oh man, right?
How about
not this phone app?
How about plugging your headset into the controller and talking with people? I don't know. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah, like I'll give you the $20 just to do that.
Basic. Well, I think you're gonna have to spend a little bit more than that because none of their controllers have headphone jacks on them.
You're welcome, Mike, for answering your question.
Yeah. So I think they're they have they have games announced, and I think they're gonna have another solid year. It's not going to be as good as last year because last year was just unbelievable, but I think it's still gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be keeping up that momentum. They came out strong. They came out pretty fast.
Right,
and
for me, it's pretty much where I'm buying all my indie games now, which is a huge thing.
Yeah. Oh, for me too. Like so many, I've like, hey Ryan, how's this one? Or how's this? Have you played it yet? And that's where I get it because then I can just take that with me. And those are the ones that are on that are great to take around.
Right.
Like I've got like Xenoblade and Pokken Tournament for my son, Splatoon, stuff like that too. But for me, I'm coming to that for like the indie games and stuff that I can really just like lay around with and dig into.
Yeah, I like some indie games and some indie games that it's like, why am I paying for this?
Right.
Yeah,
it's definitely hit or miss.
Hit and miss.
Yeah.
Hit or miss.
I think so far the only one I had a bad experience with was Has Been Heroes. I was so excited to play it, and then when I started playing it, I was like, what the going on here?
All right, let's take a question from the chat.
Do we have any questions from the chat?
Steph says she has.
Yeah, Steph says she has a question.
The answer is 4. It'd be funny if it was a number question. As we sit here quietly waiting for her to catch it.
If she's on PlayStation, I'm surprised it's taking her this long to type. Last month was pretty dry to me, but there's a few this month I'm interested in. What games are you guys excited for the upcoming all platforms?
All platforms?
Well, about last month. That's because you didn't get Monster Hunter. You should have got that when it came out. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? That took up an entire month.
Yeah, seriously. So what's coming out next month? Well, I'm excited for Sea of Thieves. That's coming out on, I believe, the 20th. March 20th. Red's taking a little break there. That's fine. And Far Cry 5 is coming out at the end of the month as well, which I'm interested in. I hope it's when they first brought that idea out, I was like, oh man, they're going there, right? It looks like it was going to be some sort of like, well, very very appropriate for the times, let's say, dealing with some
Yeah.
issues. And it seems like they're kind of going in a more goofier fashion with it, which is, I guess, what Far Cry do. But so I'm gonna check it out just because I'm a big Far Cry fan. I didn't really like Primal, but I liked 4 and 3, so I'm definitely gonna check it out, and hopefully it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, I just got they just announced a date for Detroit Become Human. Forget what it is, but I'm looking forward to that. And then this summer, Defiance 2050 is coming. I loved that game when it came out on 360. Put a lot of time into there, and then it's still been going strong on PC. So the fact that for a long while they didn't say anything about it coming to next gen to be able to play it on like Xbox One or PlayStation 4 was surprising. And then all of a sudden, bam, Defiance 2050 coming this summer. So those are a couple things I'm looking for. Red Dead, when we finally get that.
Me, I'd say the God of War that's coming out is what I'm looking forward to. You do have that Detroit game that's coming out I'm looking forward to. Don't think anything really off the top of my head other than that.
Yeah, we're
really
trying to
piqued my interest.
limit it to the next month. I mean,
Next month.
within the next
I don't
month,
even know what's coming up.
we'll definitely talk
I don't even know
about.
what's coming out.
Oh yeah, that's right. The A Way Out's coming out. God of War isn't coming out until April, so we'll talk about that.
I thought it was
the
it's
next
April.
test.
I'm a little bit ahead. I apologize.
420. You know, it's smoke a blunt and
Right,
play
just
God
tell
of
us,
War,
right?
right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that so A Way Out is coming out, which is that co-op game, like an EA indie game.
Okay, yeah, so I'm kind of looking through here too. We got Attack on Titan 2's coming out. Warhammer's coming to PC. That's one I might pick up. My PC decides it wants to let me play it.
I've tried to play the Warhammer series, and I remember when the first one, I think it came to PS3 or PS4. It was about 5 years ago. And I tried playing online with that, and for some reason just could not play with anybody else with that game.
Vermintide?
I don't remember. It was on one of the PlayStations.
That was horrible.
It
When
was
it first came
40K.
out.
I really don't remember. It was on the PlayStation, and I was having issues like crazy, and it made me done with it. I'll be honest, I'm kind of annoyed with all the re-releases, these remastered games. You want to remaster the games? Increase the freaking polygon count, increase the graphics. Stop releasing me something that's, 360p on a PlayStation 4 that looks like I'm playing a Nintendo on a 4K. I just, personally, if you're going to remaster it, actually remaster the game. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking to Lee.
Oh, you're good, because we definitely had like a boom of games that were like, oh, we're just going to re-release this.
It's just a money thing.
Here's a new game. This.
Let's talk about that as well. I'm bringing that off the subject, but you want to look at all these games that have these DLC that you were talking about DLCs earlier, where they'll release. All right, well now we have a new game that comes out. Now it has this particular add-on and this particular add-on. One of the ones that comes to mind is the Injustice 2. How that ended up coming up with, all right, now you can buy the game all together with all the DLC on top of it. Now, why do they keep doing crap like that? I mean, I understand you want more money, but stop releasing that crap. Release a new game instead, right? Or am I wrong?
Right. But until everybody stops buying into them, especially for fighters, it's definitely going to happen. Like it always happens. You'll get the game, you'll get the season pass. Like I had Injustice 2.
I'm of two minds about that because a remaster of a game is a lot less expensive to make than a new version. So if releasing that, spending a little bit of money on it, and making some money off of it means that the next game is going to come out and be maybe of better quality because the budget may be a little bit higher.
Okay, so then
I'm
don't
okay with
make
that.
my remaster. then stop. Well, I mean, all right. If you're gonna keep the stuff kind of the same, then don't charge me $60 for a remastered game.
Yeah, I mean, I
charge
don't. I
me
don't think any
30.
remaster should be $60, unless it's like
No.
a collection or something like that. You know, like if you're getting.
But there's a lot of them that
3
have
games.
been. I mean, he knows that they're expensive remasters, and it's like, why am I paying?
What were some of the games that I've followed some of the remasters, but I don't remember.
What was that? You guys will know when we do these questions. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
So when I brought some of the other Final Fantasy games remastered onto my PlayStation 4, when they first came out, they were $60. I believe the Final Fantasy 10-2 when that first came out, I think that was 3 years ago remastered, maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
That was about $60 right when it first came out. You got Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, I think came out a few months ago.
Yeah, that was $49, I think.
But $50 still. I mean, that game shouldn't be $50 as a remastered. It should be a $30 game, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess so like Stephanie points out that the DMC remaster that's coming out is 30, which
but that's multiple.
Is that all 4?
Yeah, but that's multiple games. I would pay for that because it's not just one game.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm remasters are fine as long as they're priced right, and like $30 for
4 games. Yeah, definitely. I'd even pay $60 for 4 games. Granted that it's 4 games. Like I just downloaded the Master Chief Collection on my Xbox One tonight. Ironically, that was $30.
So it just has 3. It must have Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3, which is still good. $10 a game.
Good. That's $10 a game.
In like the case of the Master Chief Collection.
You get 4 games.
Yeah. Bullshit aside, when that game came out, as a package, was absolutely worth $60 when that came out.
Yeah, and it's 30 right now. $30 for anybody like $30.
Nice. Came with my Xbox, so.
I mean, it was unfortunate that it had all of the multiplayer issues when it came out. But aside from that,
I think they fixed that.
They fixed it. But aside from that, it's a great deal to the single player was perfectly fine. So that was the real reason why I got that anyways, because I wanted to replay those campaigns. And
same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
All right, so we should be going into the games soon, but let's do one more question because we had one more question from the group. The Handsome Collection, the Borderlands 2 Handsome Collection was a good deal when that came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
I can't tell you how many times I've bought Borderlands.
Jesse asked, Jesse Fowler from the group, do you think it is possible to judge a game based solely on what it contains, mechanics, story, graphics, etc., or do you think it has to be compared to other games, or even sometimes something from another medium? Be it games in the same genre or games even in the same series. So let's go. I'll speak a little bit from the critic side of it. Usually it's every game is kind of a different situation, and I'll usually say, like, if comparing it to another game adds value to the review, I'll definitely do that. And certainly if it's a game in a series that's trying to improve upon the mechanics and features of the previous entry, you definitely need to reference the older games. But you got to kind of be careful with that because you may be doing comparisons and to games that people may not be familiar with. This is kind of like a little bit of a side thing, but it's kind of my problem with terms like Metroidvania and roguelike.
What is that?
Yeah, right. Especially considering, well, I guess we're going to begin. I guess Metroid's kind of coming back, but Castlevania probably isn't.
I would love to see an open world Castlevania, to be honest. You know, where you,
Oh, well, I got a game for you. It's called Castlevania Survive, and Konami is putting it out next year. It's using the Fox engine, and
you lost me at Konami.
um, so yeah. So the problem with that is like if people don't know, aren't familiar with what makes a Metroidvania, like if they don't understand what the concepts of Metroid are, if they've never played one, that's kind of a problem when you're saying this is a Metroidvania, and they're like, "What the fuck is a Metroidvania?
Metroidvania.
What is?"
Exactly.
That sounds like some sort of like indie band or something.
Yeah.
We're going to see Metroidvania. So yeah, I mean from my perspective, that you just got to kind of draw the line and figure out what like do you need to compare, and if you do, making sure you find the right touchstone.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with you.
And
when
in
it comes to
conversations like this on a podcast or something like that, it's so much easier to just make a comparison like that instead of getting into like big long mechanics talks or something. It's easier to say, yeah, this game's like Mario. You jump around. Like Celeste is a good example that just came out. It's easy to say, oh, it's like Mario. You jump around. It's like, well, not really. It's like Super Meat Boy, but if you don't know what Super Meat Boy is, that's not going to help you out at all.
Right.
So how far down that rabbit hole do you go before you just say, it's a really hard game where you jump around and you die a lot?
Right.
Was that going to help anyone out either? What do you guys think? Like, what helps you out when you're trying to figure out if you're like looking into a game or something like that? Do comparisons help, or?
I actually do the same thing. Is basically the way Jesse described it. Look at the mechanics, the story, the graphics, etc. Does it interest me? Does it flow well? Is it easy to move around, and whatever that might be? That's how I judge a game. If it feels too linear to me, or if it's too open, there's too many side quests drawing me away from what's the main quest.
Yeah.
And there are so many different aspects to whatever game you're discussing. As far as comparing it to other games, I usually won't do that. I think a game stands on its own. Even if it's part of a series, it should stand on its own, because you will have some games that they're amazing, and then the other games in the series suck balls. Or you'll have some games in a series that are really great, Mass Effect, and then you'll have that one game that's brought in later that really sucks.
Maybe that one game, right?
That
one.
I mean,
that one game.
Not one specific game. I don't know.
We're not naming anything, but we're just saying that if there was one game.
I'm sorry, guys. I have this old.
Just to go right, because I enjoyed that one game for what I've played so far.
You need to bye.
Yeah. I'm either bye, because you got to go play a little bit more of it to find.
Right, but like that could bring into like my point from that for like judging the game solely on like what others are saying about it, or is it do you actually get some enjoyment from it?
Absolutely.
And as far as like the comparing it to other games, I agree with Red. I really don't try to do that until I'm trying to explain it to somebody that doesn't know anything about the series. But then it's also very choosy on what am I going to try to compare it to give you the best example of how this game might be that you've never played before, or have never played something like it before. And like that happened a lot with like Monster Hunter. So I was trying to like explain that to some people, because a lot of new people came into that game. And it's a lot of people that had no idea about it or never played it on the Nintendo.
That would be me.
On the handhelds, or maybe played it back on the Vita when Freedom Unite came out.
Yep.
So
I'd be one of those.
Kind of like this, kind of like that. So
yeah, I fall under that with the Monster Hunter. I'm one of the only people in the gaming group that does not play that specific game. I tried the beta, didn't like it. But you know, to each their own with that specific game. Like you said about
Yeah, I mean,
hype,
so
Yeah,
everybody seems to like it. I personally, and that comes down to your personal
like
ability to judge the game, whether or not it fits to what you like to
and
play.
I completely agree with that too. Because like when I was explaining it to people too, I was like, you might not like this game because especially if it's somebody that I know their gaming habits, I'll still explain it to them, but then I'll be like, I know you. You might not like this at all because yeah, it's really grindy. It's really repetitive. It's a basic simple.
That
simple
didn't bother
system,
me.
yeah.
But
So
It
the
was the controls that bothered me. Just a heads up. I did not like the controls.
also the beta is not a very good example of the final version of the game.
Yeah,
I really
that's
didn't like
another-
the beta too. After the second beta, I was like, I really was not thinking about getting this game. I'm glad I decided against. I actually had it pre-ordered and I ended up canceling it.
yeah,
But then
I went back and forth with Ryan about like at least 10 different times. He was like, I'm gonna get it.
yeah,
No, bro, I'm not getting it now.
and now,
Oh, Derek,
and now,
you even
That's something else. I'm gonna get it again.
and now I've got
Derek,
like
you
50
even
hours
offered
in it.
me.
So,
You even offered to get me the game, and I was like,
Yeah, and that's what I said too. I was like, let's wait until closer to when it comes out, and then if you tried, we knew the beta was coming, so try that, see if you like it. If not, then
and I tried it, and I didn't try it just one beta. I tried it twice. So I mean, it just
Yeah.
it didn't appeal to me.
And like I said, they kind of, like Ryan said too, they kind of failed there with the beta too, because it was designed for that sole purpose.
Stephanie's
so it
not
wasn't
liking
even a
it.
good.
yeah. Yeah, I guess Steffi's not enjoying the game. Oh well.
Oh well,
Not for
her
everybody,
loss
not
shall
for
win.
everybody. Maybe we'll have another. Maybe we'll have 2 more copies to give away next month.
Right?
Now I almost feel bad for us being like, hey Steph, get Monster
Yeah.
Hunter.
Okay. Let's move on to the giveaway. So speaking of giving away Monster Hunter, Stephanie is giving away Monster Hunter World to Bert Kinnickett. Kinnickett. I don't know if he's in the chat, but he just won. He won the Monster Hunter copy, and she's giving away the $20 gift card to Eugene Bigham. Not sure if he's in the chat either, but if not, we'll get in touch with you guys about getting you your prizes. So let's now move on to choosing the winner of the other $20 gift card for the best question. We've got Derek, we've got Mike, and we've got Jesse delivering us questions. Which one did we like the best? So Derek, just so you guys know, Derek is Rashid. So he sent in this question. What does... Oh, God. Windows is bad. Windows is real bad. What does the industry need to do to regain confidence of the gamer community? Michael sent in, will Nintendo stay on top this year? And this was Jesse's. Do you think it's possible to judge a game based solely on what it contains? Which one did you guys like the best? What do you think gave us the best conversation?
I'd say the first question gave us the best conversation personally. We seem to be a little bit more into that question and give a little bit more input.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. But I'd also say that Jesse's question was really close behind that.
That's true.
We could spend like I said, we could spend a whole nother podcast on that too, and really diving deep into
Yeah, they're
like you said,
they're
the
like
mechanics.
literally
of
right here.
Yeah.
It's so close that
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'd probably have to go with Rashid's. I think that did create. I mean, we kind of took maybe some liberties with this specifics of the question, but I think it did produce a pretty good conversation.
Yeah.
All right. So congrats to Rashid. He $20 gift card to whatever platform you'd like. PSN, Steam, Xbox, eShop. I am pronouncing his name wrong. Richard. I apologize. It's right in front of me, and I'm still doing it.
I wasn't going to say anything, but Stephanie decided to.
Yeah. Please do next time before I say it 15 times.
I thought you'd find it funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
After this, you will see all the bloopers. Wait, you're seeing it live.
Okay. All right, let's get on to the game. After, let me continue to embarrass myself.
Are we? When are we going to be asking these questions of each other?
I think that's the
Right
part
now.
of the game here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Okay.
He's going to go look up the answers.
Right.
I need to go study quick.
Well, while he's taking a break, do we have any other questions while we wait from the chat?
If Richard, if I had $1 for every time I introduced myself as Ryan and they said, "Nice to meet you, Brian," I would be a multi-millionaire at this point in my life.
Who won what game? There, Crouton. Who's Crouton? I'm not sure who Crouton 13 is. It'll take a couple of seconds for it to catch up, but you'd have to tell me what game you're referring to.
So I don't know. I had, because we lost Lee. I had him send the questions for me to either you, Red, or Derek. I'm not sure who he sent them to.
It's probably going to end up with either Derek. Who's beat the game Monster Hunter World? I haven't, obviously.
All right, I am back, and it looks like Lee's sending me over
Crouton, Bert Kinnickett won the Monster Hunter World game.
Oh, yes, that question.
Okay, so Derek has the questions for Resident Evil 4, which I'm going to answer. Okay, so Derek's back, so let's break down what we're doing here. It's unfortunate that Lee had some connection issues because he was kind of the mastermind of this idea. Basically what this is each of us chose a specialty, like a game where we think that we're an expert on. And the challenge is for someone else to come up with questions to stump us about said game. Derek chose Final Fantasy VII. That's right?
Yeah.
Red is going to ask him questions about that. Red chose questions about Final Fantasy X. Derek is going to ask him questions about that.
Couldn't pick 7.
Right. I chose Resident Evil 4. Lee was going to ask questions about that, but he's sent them over to Derek, who's going to ask me those. Lee was originally going to do Resident Evil 2, which I'll probably... I mean, I looked up these questions, so I'm going to say the questions, and Lee's in the chat, and so is everyone else. So we'll see if Lee can answer these questions before someone in the chat can. How about that?
Chat.
So the rules here is we have 20 seconds to answer each question. I will be timekeeper for everyone but myself. So I don't know if one of you guys has a stopwatch.
I do.
Okay. So when it's my turn to answer questions, I'll just ask that Red keep track of time, which makes sense because Derek has my questions. So yeah,
I think Derek. Seeing how Derek's got 2 sets of questions to ask, let's have him ask first.
Yeah, we'll have
I'm
Derek ask first,
just
and
ready
then
to ask.
Red will go, and then we'll do me.
All right. So
Um,
am I asking you first, Ryan, or am I asking Red
Oh,
first?
I don't know. How do we want to do it? Let's do Final Fantasy versus Final Fantasy. Then we'll do Resident Evil versus Resident Evil.
All right, Final Fantasy first then.
All right.
All right. Ready, buddy?
The answer's 5. No.
Damn it! I'm foiled.
All right. I will start the timer once you're finished the question. And
I'm gonna not be able to answer any of them.
Right. Where'd that confidence go from before?
yeah, I know. There was some smack talk going on earlier.
I don't know. It
should be
depends
good.
on the question.
All right.
Right? All right. You ready for this?
Oh yeah, let's go.
All right. At the end of the game, what does Yuna do while standing at the docks overlooking the ocean?
She's waiting for Titus. I don't remember exactly. I know she's sitting there looking up into the sky.
Doing something specific.
That I don't know. I don't remember.
Hold on. We're almost out of time. I'm giving him the. And okay, it's done.
All right. She was whistling.
She was whistling Dixie?
No, actually, it was that tune that he had taught her. Remember, she couldn't whistle in the beginning of the
she couldn't
game?
whistle. Yeah, I remember that now.
All right, so now I feel better that I stumped you a bit, because...
Was that the easiest one?
No, there's probably there's one that's like way easier.
Okay.
All right, ready for the second one?
Sure.
Who is the historian you run into during your quest?
I want to call him Mecham.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's close enough. It's like Maecchen.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
He's an old guy with little spectacles that has like this crooked bad walk. That walks around the game. You'll find him throughout the game.
Yep.
All right. So that's one for Red. Let's move on to question number 3.
All right. What is the name of Waka's blitzball team?
The Aurochs. Or I believe that's how you pronounce it. The Aurochs.
Yeah. That was probably like the easiest one.
Easiest one, yeah.
All right. Ready for question 4?
Was that already at 4? All right, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. What is the name of Titus's best weapon?
I want to call it the Khalidbolg.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's
sure
pretty
if that's
close.
correct pronunciation.
Yeah, because it's Caladbolg.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Got one more?
Yeah, I had gotten 5. So,
Okay.
what is Arin's overdrive called?
Which one?
No, he only had one.
Orin has a different type, Bushido.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, but there's
the
4
Bushido.
different. It's the overdrive, and then it has whatever you call
Like,
it. The 4 different
The element
abilities.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you got it, Red. It's okay.
I feel bad because my questions are far more difficult.
Uh-oh.
Alright, I'm so good.
Uh-oh. All right, so Red's got 4. Now we're doing Red's got the questions. I'm ready. Whenever you guys are ready.
All right, you ready, Derek?
I guess as ready as I can be.
Okay. In the game Final Fantasy VII, how many of your playable characters can ride chocobos at the Gold Saucer?
3.
That is correct. Do you know who they are?
It's Cloud, Tifa, and Eris.
Nope.
No.
You got 2 out of the 3. The last one is actually Sid. But
Oh, okay. I forgot that he was that.
You did get the number correct.
And is that the question? Was the can you name them a
number
bonus?
3. Yeah, it's a bonus. It was a
Okay.
bonus to him.
All right.
I mean, it's part of the question, but I'm gonna give it to him. He got the 3.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
You ready for the
number 2.
next one?
I guess so. Kind of feeling good now.
I always butcher the name of the currency in Final Fantasy. I call it Gil, but I think it's called Jill.
Gil.
I
I
look,
go by Gil.
Yeah, I've always called it Gil, but I've heard people pronounce it
I
Jill.
look. Apparently, I look bemused as fuck. I don't know exactly what that means.
What material is worth the most Jill or Gil when it's mastered, and how much is it worth? This is
What I
actually the
remember,
easier.
isn't it the luck material that's worth the most?
That is incorrect, sir.
Uh-oh.
Waiting for the timer to see the answer.
2 seconds.
DXP? No, DXP.
Yeah, time's up.
Yeah,
It would be the all materia. When you mastered the all
that's
materia.
right. And isn't it like,
Do you know how much?
I want to say it's like, I know it's all nines, but I'm trying to.
Nope.
No, it's not.
It's 1.4 million.
Yes.
You get 1.4 million for mastering that and then selling it. Yep.
See, I was trying to visualize what I was farming on the gold Sunken Galenka.
Now this one's going to be a very difficult one for you.
Oh, good.
What is the combination to the safe in the Shinra mansion?
Son of a bitch. Oh my god.
10
Like
seconds.
8, 5, 6, 4. Yeah, I've got no clue. That's
All
why
right.
I gotta go hunt down that.
Well, I mean, if you played it enough, you get used to there. I think there's what, 2 safes in the game?
0451.
No, it was right
Okay.
36, left 10, right 59, right 97.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
You had to
jeez.
go like left and right. And...
Yep.
Is that where you had to find like all the little pieces of paper for it too?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember doing that.
So the next one is, what is the name of Tifa's childhood friend who is always showing up throughout the game that she refers to?
Zach.
That is wrong.
Uh-oh.
It is Johnny.
Honey.
Yes, if you go back to, what is the name of that place? Back to our hometown, you'll see him wandering around and you can talk to him. Yeah.
That's
all right.
a new one for me.
Here's the last question for you, and hopefully you get this. I consider this one. Which playable character is the tallest?
Is it Sid?
It is not.
Okay.
Second guess would be Cat Sith.
That is not it either.
Really?
2
It is
seconds.
Barrett. It is
Okay.
Barrett.
Yeah, it's over.
Barrett.
Really?
Yeah. He just crouches a lot, but if you look into their bios, that's the tallest.
All right, so tallying
Hopefully
that up,
those weren't too difficult.
No,
Derek,
I liked them.
let's
It really made you like think and take you like back to like certain things of that game.
let's run down the leaderboard here. We got Red with 4, and Derek with 1.
I'll be honest. I probably would have gotten 3 out of 5 of those questions for if I had done Final Fantasy VII, and I would have
Right.
gotten a combination wrong too.
Yeah, that was like. But the best
That was
part
one
is
of
if you try to like visualize, because like we were talking about earlier, was somebody
Yeah,
who can
like
breathe.
I remember where the papers are that you're getting the combination, but I couldn't remember the combination.
I've got one for you
What?
for Final Fantasy VII. Down in the laboratory, when you can look at the bookshelf, what do the Roman numerals equal? What number?
Oh, God, I do not remember that. I remember the books, but I don't remember what they equal.
7.
Yeah, they do.
There's like a bunch of little hidden things that was one of the things I was listening to today. They have a bunch of
I
things.
wanted to say 7, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, it's one of those
gonna-
things that's like it's obvious, but it's not obvious.
Yeah.
Because they gave like a ton of odes in the game to reference 7.
That was actually one of the questions I had for you. Should have saved that for you.
Germans. All right. So I guess.
All right. My turn.
Yeah. Let me pull this. Let me pull Facebook up here. All right. Let me know when you're ready with the stopwatch over there.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm ready. You tell me when you want me to start the stopwatch.
All right. So it looks like I'm gonna be quizzing Ryan for Lee.
Second, you finish your question.
All right.
Yeah. When the question gets finished.
Yeah. I'll be quizzing him on Resident Evil 4 here. So,
I'm intrigued.
question 1.
Questions kindly donated by Lee.
Yes, I'm giving them for Lee since the interwebs would not let him be here with us.
Yeah.
What is the name of the strand that is infected the enemies?
Las Plagas.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Somebody want to keep my score so I don't cheat?
Yeah, I got your score.
All right. Question 2. Oh, wait, so Red's finished writing there?
Oh, I'm good. You're good. You're
Okay, good. All right. In
Multitask.
Leon's campaign, how many El Gigantes, the giant ogres, do you encounter?
Oh boy. Well, that's kind of a trick question because there's some you can skip. 1, 2.
Well, I guess do you encounter? So.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna say
Time.
3.
4.
Oh, that was damn it.
Sweet. At this point, I'm at least tied with him.
Right, yeah.
If he gets rest.
Right.
I already lost.
All
Great.
One more
right.
and I win.
Yeah.
Question 3. You have to kill Chief Mendez, a tall, bald, beard dude in a long coat, in order to gain a body part that is a key. What body part is it?
His eyeball.
Yes.
Yes. That means I'm not last.
All right. Huh. Question 4. What is the real name of the iconic chainsaw baghead enemy?
Oh my god.
He's like, after you get that one, I'm gonna make it hard.
Yeah. I don't know.
Still got 5 seconds.
Asshole.
Dr. Salvador.
Okay.
Salvador.
All right.
Lee, thank you for bringing me this enjoyment. Quizzing Ryan on it. All right, you ready for question 5?
Yep.
Who handled the PC port?
Like physically, they touched it because it was on Steam, so nobody, right? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with Bluepoint because they do everything, right? I don't know.
Give it up. Time up.
Yeah.
Yep, time's up.
Ubisoft.
Really?
Oh, wow, that's
Well,
surprising.
according to Lee. Yeah, so for Lee, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
All
so
right.
we got Ryan at a whopping 2.
All right. Well, that makes me.
1, 2, 3.
I don't feel so bad anymore that Lee made it a little bit more difficult. So.
All right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I've got questions for Lee. I'm just gonna ask them in the chat, and kind of, if somebody's in there that wants to, yeah, I guess Lee, try to be quick. But
if you could do this once you say it, I can pay attention to the chat and start the timer. So when he sees it in the chat, see how much time he has till he finishes the answer. Just put your hand up when you're done talking, or do something that's recognizable in the chat.
okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not really worrying about timing.
Aw.
Basically, we'll give it a little while, and if Lee comes back and says I don't know, we'll just move on. But I'm suspecting if there's anybody in the chat that knows the answer, you're probably gonna be like,
Give him 30 seconds for
Yeah.
typing.
If you know the answer, maybe don't just shout it out immediately. But if you
Wait until you
if
see
you can't
Lee
control
respond.
yourself, if you can't control yourself, you're just so excited that it comes out, whatever. But yeah, I guess let's give him. I guess we can time it. Let's give him 30 seconds.
25, 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's give him 30 seconds. Just enough time to open up Google and type, look up the answer. All right, so number 1. Now these are questions about Resident Evil 2. What is the job that Leon is starting in Raccoon City? That's my cue.
All right, started the queue. Complete and utter silence while we wait for him
That's
to
what we watch.
contemplate.
Right.
Yeah. He's got about 10 more seconds.
Yep, you got it right.
Police
Alright.
officer.
Police officer.
Yeah. 1 for Lee.
All right. That was the easy one. I don't know. I've never played Resident Evil 2, so I don't know how hard some of these questions are.
Long enough to Google it.
Right. Question number 2. Why did Claire go to Raccoon City in the first place?
Define Chris.
Yes.
I think Lee's probably going to win this.
Yeah.
Some easy questions.
Okay. Well, I've got 10 of them. So maybe we'll
goes that lag,
dig
bro.
deep.
It's been years since I played that game, man. Holy God.
All right. Next question. What happens to the gun shop owner from the beginning of the game?
I think your hand gestures are the funniest part. This is all an intro movie.
He gets munched to fuck by zombies.
Yes, that is correct. That is exactly what I had. No. But no, that is correct. All right. What are we at? Number 4 here?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you'll be on question 4.
All right.
Right, Steph. They're easy. I don't know where you found these questions.
What does Chief Irons tell Claire was one of his favorite pastimes?
It's rigged.
Yeah, he got it. Taxidermy.
Damn.
Hi. I hope this last question is actually hard.
I don't
Right?
know. I have no idea.
Just gonna go walk away.
Right? I thought I would win, like, by a landslide, but I should have gotten a damn whistling question.
For shame.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if these are hard or not, but
What color shoelace was?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking. I play it once a year.
You said most of your questions were in an opening movie, though.
Well, like I said, I
Jump
have
down
no
that
idea.
list.
I have a feeling like all of these are going to be pretty easy now.
Smart ass. Make a quick Google search.
I think I'm going to because I feel like these are way too easy.
Difficult Resident 2 question.
Way to go, Lee.
Yeah.
You're making him pull out Google.
I was actually looking up some and I was like, these are probably too hard. But we're going to stump him. As the host, I get to do this.
Right? It went from the game to
Yeah.
then Ryan stump Lee.
Here we go. Resident Evil. Oh, wow.
All right.
At least.
All right, Lee.
He said before you ask, the safe code is 2236.
What is the number on the container that drops into the police station that contains the tyrant? I'll repeat it again because I kind of stumbled through it. What is the number on the container that drops into the police station that contains the tyrant?
Nightbot answer. I was like, wait, what? Nightbot. X2?
You know what? He might have got that right.
Oh, God.
Hold on.
Lee is the master.
I have to find this answer.
How can you ask a question and not have the answer?
That's a multiple choice answer. All right. What is the number? The answer is T-00.
So he got it wrong.
Yeah, he got it wrong. T2 was one of the answers.
Finally stumped him. He said that was
Yeah.
Ah, we're tied.
All right, yeah. So, through our own devices,
Yeah, through
We
our
got a
devices
tie.
to make it fair.
all right. I didn't see anyone else answering in the chat. There needs to be a tiebreaker. That's right. There needs to be a tiebreaker.
Difficult questions only. There can only be.
I do have another difficult Final Fantasy VII question.
All right, let's do that, and then I'll.
You want to try to find another Resident Evil one, and I'll ask.
Yeah.
I'll ask Red this question.
Yeah.
So Red, the question for you is, what is written on Genova's head plate?
That's 7.
No,
Uh-oh.
it is not.
Genova.
Yeah, you know her gold head plate? When Sephiroth's pulling her out is when you get the real good glance of it. But do you know what's written on it?
That's from Final Fantasy 7.
Oh shit, I said I was asking you a Final Fantasy VII question.
It's got to be a 10 question.
Oh shit, let me go find a 10 question there. I don't got one.
What is going on?
While we're waiting, can you answer that?
Oh, pick a neutral. Derek got an idea of pick a neutral game.
Oh, we could pick a neutral game.
But Red, I'm
Does it have to be the
curious, both
same
of us,
game?
Do you know what it is?
I do not off the top of my head from the 7 game.
Yeah, you wouldn't because it wasn't found out until 8 years later when a high-res image came out. But it's a Square Enix address.
Really?
It literally says like Square Enix, and then it has part of an address, and then like
I'm
the
gonna tell
publishing
you.
rights.
I'm going to tell you that that had to been added afterwards because when the game first came out, it was Square Soft, and it wasn't
Okay.
until I believe Final Fantasy 8 or 9 that it became Square Enix. So
Gotcha.
that had to be released
Was it Square
after.
Soft? Maybe I just read it wrong, but
If it says
yeah,
Square,
there's something about. Let me look it back up.
if it says Soft, it's accurate. But if it's Square Enix, that was added after the fact.
All right. We're in uncharted territories here, so we're gonna have to come up with something here. What are we gonna do? Are we going to come up with a neutral game
Sure.
off the top of our heads here? What I mean, it's got to be the same game for both of you. So what are we?
How about current events or something? AAA game in the last 5 years, something of that.
Lee, why don't you rattle off some games, and we'll see if Red likes any of them.
Oh no, that was wrong. It's made in Hong Kong, all rights reserved, 1996, Square Company Limited.
That would have been there from the original then.
Yeah. Sorry, I had it a little bit backwards. That was something that I was just reading today too.
All right. I mean, that was there was some balance there, right?
So what game? Me, I'm not, Resident Evil. I wouldn't be able to questions from that. I don't
Yeah.
know if he could answer a question from Final Fantasy though. I don't know
I'm not
his
sure.
knowledge of the game.
Metal Gear.
My Metal Gear series knowledge isn't that great.
Okay. Is there anyone that you're more privy to than others?
So, Sons of the Patriots, if anything, though. The
Two.
one, maybe the last one. No, the fourth or the last one.
Oh, Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah, Guns. Sorry.
Sons of Liberty.
Here's mine.
Oh, hey. So maybe you're both not very good at Metal Gear.
Oh, sure. So ask us a question about.
Yeah, this
Metal
sounds
Gear.
like something I could.
But don't make it so hard that we'd be like, no. See, this is hard because he's in the thing. Can't like.
Yeah,
Alright,
I know.
I'll
It's
answer.
it's
You
not
know,
it's not.
the speed answering.
Yeah, it's almost like it should be two questions.
Possibly, yeah, that would work. What was the secret of beating Psycho Mantis? Ripping off his head?
That's a good question. No.
That I wouldn't know.
Okay. We had actually talked about it earlier in the podcast. Yeah, so I guess that's not going to work out. There's too much of a delay in the chat for something like this to work. It's a tie. Both of you
I was
won.
gonna say that's fine.
Both of you won, and that'll be the end of that.
Next time we have him where he can stay on the chat, we'll have another.
Right. I mean, we're gonna keep a tally of who wins all of these things. So it'll be a fight to the death, as it were, moving forward. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up then. Any of you want to give any shout outs to anything? Derek, do you want to give some shout outs to Murdered Monkey or anything like that?
I'll just be doing my streaming there over at the Murder Monkeys Gaming Twitch page every night, usually after 8. Weekends, different times. So I'm always there if you guys want to come and hang out. Been playing Sword Art right now. Some Fortnite. We'll be going back to some Monster Hunter. Kind of hitting whatever's new or whatever we're playing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Red sometimes streams on the Voxel
for my PlayStation at this moment until I can get some stuff set up to go through mine.
Okay.
It's just really hard to get into Voxel, so we have to go through so many different processes.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can check out, keep checking out the Twitch. We'll be streaming. We don't have any schedule or anything like that. Just kind of whenever one of us wants to jump on. Lee also streams as well. You can check out the YouTube channel where currently, well, we're going to be putting these podcasts up there in case that's your preferred way to watch these kinds of things. I'm slowly converting some of my written articles into videos, and I'm going to be moving forward with that with any new stuff, hopefully. Right now, I'm currently playing a indie game on the Switch called Malacca, which had a better beginning than an end. So I'm working on finalizing my thoughts on that game. So look for that on the website as well, voxelvoice.com. And yeah, just check out the group, hang out. We'll be looking for more questions next month. What is the first Thursday of next month? That will be April 5th.
As long as it's not April Fool's.
Well, yeah. So the thing about that is that's the first day of PAX East. So I don't know if I will be here or not.
We'll figure something out.
So we'll figure something out. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. It goes all weekend, so I'm not sure which day I'm going, if I'm going multiple days. But yeah, I guess that's another thing. If you're in the New England area and you are going to PAX, let us know. Let me know.
Might be able to meet up.
Yeah, maybe we can meet up or something like that. That's in Boston, the April 5th through the 8th, and it's a really cool time. It's a really great convention, really chill. Everyone's awesome. You get to talk to developers, you get to talk to fellow gamers, you get to just hang out and have a good time. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have stuff to talk about after that. So maybe we'll do the week after. Maybe we'll do the 12th. I guess that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because Lee also had mentioned too that we could probably use that to test one of the pre-recorded we're talking about.
Pre-recorded and yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we're
air
thinking
it
about
live
maybe
then.
doing 2 of these a month. One where it's pre-recorded and we're more, I don't want to say scripted, but more we can elaborate more on like the games we're playing and things like that. Because with it's fun to take the off the cuff questions from the chat and stuff like that, but also sometimes it leads to incomplete thoughts, or later on we're like, oh man, I wish I had talked about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks Derek, Red, and Lee for hanging out. Thanks for Steph for keeping an eye on the chat and giving away a whole bunch of stuff, game cards and Monster Hunter. And like I said, next month looks like we'll have 2 more copies of Monster Hunter to give away.
Right. And definitely keep a lookout for the post on the stuff too, so you know when we're gonna do it. And like I'd posted earlier too, if you know some people, invite them on in.
We'll talk about that later, Derek. About the whole PlayStation Plus stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That is something that just came out recently. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys, and
Everyone have a great night.
we'll catch you all later.
Like Box, I mean, we all do.